She said, when you see me, you're gonna need an EpiPen because you're gonna choke. You're gonna choke because you're gonna see what you missed out on. I said, what? And she right. Alright, you guys, so welcome back. For today's video, I want to do something completely different and do a chit chat. Get ready with me while talking about, Love is Blind, okay? Because this new season, y'all, is crazy, and it's actually based in Charlotte, and I'm from Charlotte. I'm here right now, so I just want to go ahead and talk about it because, a lot of the people in my city know these individuals, so it's kind of fun to see it from their perspective and just see people you know what I'm saying, on the show. So a lot to unpack with you guys, of course, and I'll show you guys how I also do my face today because I do have an interview, and yeah, I'm super excited about it. So with that being said, hit that like, subscribe button, and let's get into this video because I got a lot to say about Love is Blind, okay? All right, you guys, so I'm super excited for today's video because I wanted to do something different for you guys and basically do my makeup. I have an interview in a little bit that I'm super excited for, send good vibes. But also beyond that, Love is Blind is here, okay? And it's actually based in Charlotte this time. So I'm super excited for that because your girl lives in Charlotte, all right? So it's just kind of funny seeing it from my point of view because a lot of my friends in Charlotte know these people on the TV show, so it's a whole different vibe. But I just want to sit here and chit chat with you guys about the show, let you guys know my thoughts about the first 6 episodes and kind of go from there. Some people on the internet do go super in detail, when it comes to the show. I'm just trying to do like a girl chit chat with you guys, just like a little chisme or a little, tea, things like that. Nothing too crazy, but I do want to let you guys know my thoughts on it and kind of see y'all's thoughts on it as well. So fun fact, I actually applied for Love is Blind, and it's funny because my friend actually is friends with one of the producers, so he was like, just go ahead and apply and just see what happens. So I applied. I didn't want to because y'all, me on a reality show is wild. I'm just not built for that. Like, you gotta be careful about what you say. Like, it's on the internet forever. Like, I just don't have time. I just don't have time. But also, you know what? I really am like serious about finding somebody I love. But I know when I filled out the questionnaire, I was kind of rigid on my answers because a lot of the questions on there are like, can you date somebody that's, different religion? Can you date somebody that's short? Like, so there's questions on there. I was like, child, listen, like, I'm very rigid. I just don't see that for me. But anyways, this is the Fenty Beauty Hydrating Concealer in the shade 445N. I've been loving this for like my no makeup look. So clearly I wasn't on the show, but I'm not mad at it because, like, can you imagine the anxiety? Like, girl, ain't nobody got time. But I do want to go through each of the characters and let you guys know my thoughts on them. And we'll talk about the couples. And then the last episode 6, just kind of go through everything, right? So the first one I do want to talk about is AD. And I kind of have like my notes next to me because I was very like intentional about this. But I actually really, really like her. She is super sweet, very bubbly, has like the softest voice ever. I'm like, do you even like yell and get mad? She has a really soft voice, which I really like. And then also her body, y'all. Her body is tea, okay? Every time she comes on the screen, I'm just like looking at her like, girl, like, you just look so good. You look so good. Like, that is one person that like body goes for sure right when I saw her, and she seems to like get along with everybody, so I really like her so far. The next one is Matthew. So Matthew just, I don't know, he kind of cracked me up because like, you're on a show to find love and you're talking behind a wall. So that means you have to answer questions from people. He loved giving questions, pick a number from 1 through 15, right? But when somebody asked him a question back, he was like mad, or he will just walk out mid-conversation. I'm like, what is going on? Yeah, that kind of threw me off. But at the same time, I really kind of liked him because I kind of like guys like that are super introverted, and it takes time for them to like, come out their shell. So he's a little off, but I was like, you know what? it is what it is. Next one is Clay. Okay, so a lot of people from my city know Clay. I've never met him, but I've seen him like on the dating apps, I believe. But with Clay, I actually really like his energy. He looks like a player, but on the show, he's not giving me player vibes. And everybody is like stating on Twitter, on Instagram that like he's a player, he's this and this, he's that. I'm like, where are y'all getting that from? Like on the show, he wasn't really like playing a bunch of women. He was really about AD. The only thing I could see was when he was asking about AD's like body and like what she kind of looks like. But that doesn't really give me player vibes. I mean, anybody on that show wants to know, you know what I mean, what that person looks like. So he doesn't give me player vibes, and I just really like him on the show because the more he was on the screen, I really liked how like in tune he was with his emotions, and also like how he wasn't afraid to cry and like vent to the boys. I really like him so far, okay? Like I don't know where the player vibes are coming from, but I don't see that. So I'm only kind of going through like the main people on the show. There's a lot of people that were on there, but these are like my top people that stood out to me. The next one is Amber, actually. So I wish she was like on the show for the rest of the season. The little I saw from her, I vibe with her personality. She just seems so funny, so cool, like a girl's girl. Like she's just a vibe. I really, really liked her, and I wish she didn't have to, you know, leave. Now, next up is Jeremy. Jeremy actually is kind of like one of my favorites, low-key. He just gave me like that nerdy type of guy. I thought he was gonna have the personality of Matthew, but Jeremy is like a nerdy, extroverted guy. I just vibed with him. Like, if y'all don't know one thing about me, I love me like a nerdy guy. I think it's just so attractive. Like, they're just so like themselves and they don't care what nobody thinks. But Jeremy just gave me so much more. Like, I'm like, you're funny and I like you, all right? And he just seems like a good time, you know what I'm saying? Like, just so carefree, and I really vibe with that personality. The next one I do have for you guys is Laura, all right? Laura, I really like her. Some of these people on these shows, like when you first see them, you're like, I don't know if I would like these people. Like, not that I even knew what they were gonna say or how they were gonna be. It's just like some people really surprised me. Like Laura, I actually really liked her. The only thing about her that kind of threw me off was when she came up to Jessica and told Jessica to leave and go home, based on like the whole issue, you know, with Jimmy. But she didn't tell Jessica what it was that she had to leave for. It was kind of weird. Like, if you're gonna tell a girl to leave on the show, like, tell her what it is, okay? But besides that, like, I really like her personality. She kind of got along with the girls. I don't know, I really like her so far, and I really liked her actually more in episode 6 because I got to see like that spicy side of her. So I was like, okay, Laura, I really like you. So next up is Sarah Ann. Sarah Ann on the show, there wasn't too much that they showed of her, but from the little that I saw, she was super nice, very chill. But yeah, that's pretty much all I can really say about her, just because they didn't give her too much of a screen time, but she was talking to Jeremy, which is why I still wanted to mention her when I talk about like the couples and how they were interacting. So now we have Chelsea, okay? Chelsea girl. Chelsea's a very sweet girl. She never gave me like mean girl vibes or anything. Like, there's nothing like I can say bad about her, but what I will say I'm noticing about her is she lacks confidence and she's very insecure, okay? And also I noticed on the show, there's nothing wrong with being sensitive. Obviously, like, it is what it is. But I noticed like every time she had conversations with Jimmy, she would just end up crying a lot. Like, to the point where like he couldn't even really have good conversations with her because she was always crying, right? But even beyond that, I think what really irks me the most is like the confidence part. She needs to work on that, because a lot of people think, you know, if you don't have confidence in yourself, it's okay. Like, you can still get in a relationship and date. You actually can't, because you're now relying on your partner to validate you every other second. Like, you should know you're a bad girl regardless, right? But now she's relying so much on her partners to make her feel good. And so that's the only thing about Chelsea. I'm like, Chelsea girl, you You gonna stress me out. I already know she gonna stress me out. But that is my first initial thoughts about her. And I know a lot of people were saying that she doesn't look like Megan Fox. I actually kind of see the resemblance. Like, she doesn't look like Megan Fox. I think she should have stated that she has features like Megan Fox. You know what I mean? Because that plays a pivotal role in this whole thing, but we'll touch base about that later. So we're gonna move on to Trevor. And Trevor is one of those people that, like, I wish he was on the show, you guys. I really wish he was on the show. Like, I'm so sick. Like, I am so sick. One thing about Love is Blind is the people that you really want to stay and end up on the show leave. Like, it hurts me so much because, like, he is such a good guy and he needs more screen time. But the reason why I love him is because he's so in tune with himself. He knows what he wants. He understands, like, how you need to be when it comes to being a husband. And it's so hard to find that. Like, I don't want to say too much. I talk about, like, the couples and how they interacted, but he just is such a man. He's just so big and just so, he's a man. And I really, really liked him. And I was so upset that he left. And we'll touch base about him a little bit later on. But that's my initial thoughts. And I feel like out of all the guys on the show, he's one of my favorites, if not my favorite. But he left, of course. So, yeah. Next, we have Jimmy. Oh, Lord. I don't know what to say about Jimmy. Like, Jimmy, there's confidence and there's cockiness. He just kind of gives me cockiness. Like, he thinks he's just, like, the best of the best. Not saying that he isn't. He may, you know what I'm saying? But something about him I just wasn't really messing with. I didn't really like his character on TV. And the reason why I say character is because, like, TV and reality shows only show you so much of people. So in real life, he may be really nice, really fun, really chill. But on the show, I'm just like, kind of got the ick. I don't know. He just seems really cocky and, like, thinks like he's the best of the best. And I also didn't like when he would talk to the girls, like, the moment they told him, like, something they went through or something about them that they don't tell a lot of people, he would kind of, like, tune out. Like, he wasn't all the way there. You know what I'm saying? And he's not very direct with his feelings. Like, he's just kind of, like, blah. Like, that's literally what it is. Like, he's just blah to me. I don't know how else to say that. And right now I'm applying the Pat McGrath concealer in the shade MD22. I'm actually gonna apply some bronzer right now. But that's what it is about Jimmy. I don't want to say too much. I do want to talk about them in couples, but for now it's just like he's not giving me what I would like, you know what I'm saying, in a man. Now we're gonna talk about Jessica. Okay, Jessica is one of those people that, like, I am sick she is not on the show. I am literally sick. Like, she would have been so fire. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, I know this is a reality show and a lot of people think it's scripted, but I feel like if it was scripted, they would have found some way to make her permanently on the show because she's such a good, like, person, okay? I just love how confident she is. She's such a boss. She knows who she is and she doesn't care if you don't like her. Talking about, like, men, like, you gotta come up to her standards. Like, she's not gonna come down to yours. And I love how she raised about her daughter, and you could just tell she's a really good mom and really just puts her daughter first. Like, I even went on her Instagram and just, like, it was, you know, checking out her page. She is just so, like, a good mother, beautiful, stunning, a girl's girl. Like, she's all around, like, one of my, honestly, out of all the girls on the show, she's my favorite. Absolutely my favorite. And she is gone after, like, the 5th episode. But still, I freaking love her on the show. And I really wish she stayed. But I cannot wait for her to come back when she, you know, sees Jimmy and all of them. That's gonna be tea. So now moving on to Amy. She is so sweet, you guys. I love her accent. Like, it's just her accent. Every time she says words, I'm like, oh, it's so beautiful. Okay, so I know Johnny is falling in love just hearing her talk. But I really like how open she was in the pods of what she, you know, expects from her husband and all of that good stuff. And I don't know, really sweet girl. Like, there's not too much to say about her, but she's a really sweet girl, very open. And you can tell she's very much caring when it comes to like her family and making sure like her family's good, especially her brother that she talked about, which I really like. And then going on from that, we have Johnny. Johnny actually became one of my favorites. Like, when I first saw him, I was just like, he's just plain, like, you know, and there's not gonna be much about him, but actually he really surprised me because the more Amy was open with him, he was very receiving, very understanding, and just such a sweet guy. Like, so sweet, such a vibe. I just know I'm gonna love him on the show, and I cannot wait to see, like, you know, how they move on. But I think they're gonna be one of those couples that, like, they're gonna stay together because they just seem so in love. I don't even know what they're gonna argue about because they just seem so perfect. So the last two I have on my list is Brittany and Kenneth. And talking about Brittany, she is just such a good Southern girl. Okay, I'm from North Carolina, so I see a lot of these girls, and like, she reminds me of like your typical Southern girl, okay, from North Carolina. She loves God, and I love her faith. Like, if y'all know anything about me, I love God and I rave about him all the time. And I really love how she's very intentional about, you know, what she wants in her marriage, especially like waiting till marriage. Like, that's really big. You don't have to, but that's something I can relate to because I'm on the same path as well, okay? But I just really love her personality. She's just so bubbly and just so cute. You just want to like squish her, but she's so adorable. And the same thing with Kenneth too as well. When I first saw him, I didn't know what to expect. You know what I'm saying? Because like, he's tatted, you know what I'm saying? But he's like a big old teddy bear, and he loves God as well. He made that very clear. Like, he loves God. He wants to wait. I just really like them too. I hope they last because they just give me teddy bear vibes. Like, you just feel the warmth and the love from the both of them. So now I'm gonna set my face with some Huda Beauty Easy Bake Powder, all the areas that I apply some concealer. But now I do want to talk about the couples and their interactions and what I thought about them. The first two is AD and Matthew. That one really shocked me because they just seem so polar opposite. Like, I would not, like, if you were to tell me which girl Matthew was gonna like have a connection with, I would not have picked AD. But like, they just hit it off. I think I told you guys earlier that he's the type of person, like, once you break that shell of his, he is just gonna explode with personality. Like, the man he was walking into the show versus like when he was talking to AD, I was like, who is this man? So I kind of started to like him a little bit more once, you know, I saw his interaction with AD, because at first I was like, something's a little off with him. I can't put my hands on it, but I think it's just about him finding the person that he's comfortable with, and he'll be a little bit better. Now, also, AD was talking to Clay, and I really liked their interaction together. I feel like, you know, it was very easygoing. She was kind of unsure about him, I feel like, just because I feel like through the wall she can kind of pick up like, can I trust him? Is he a player? There's a lot of conversations that's had in these pods that we don't see. So I was kind of confused why she was confused and was leaning more towards Matthew at that time. But I think because when, you know, Clay asked her about her physical, she was like, oh my gosh, like, this is probably a man that like cares about looks and not really getting to know the individual. So that kind of threw her off. But I think the moment her and Matthew kind of cut things off, she really got to know Clay a little bit better and realized like, all right, this man is like really cool. And I think also when Clay mentioned to her that he even cried about her and that he was venting to the guys about her, that's when she knew like, okay, like, he's not what I was expecting. And I think that's the same thing for me too. Like, looking at Clay, yes, he looks like a guy who's gonna play you, but I think once you get to know him a little bit more, I'm starting to see like that sensitive side about him that actually cares about finding a wife. Now, going into the reveal with you know, AD and Clay, I was a little bit nervous because I didn't know what to expect. Because I know AD was more so leaning towards, you know, Matthew, but then also I know that Clay was like so worried about the looks and like whatever it is. So I know what to expect from them when they first saw each other, but they were so cute. Like I was sitting there cheesing the whole time. They were super adorable. Now I will say one thing that did kind of confuse me was in the pods, AD didn't want to focus on like describing her features and her body to him and whatnot, because her body is tea. If I don't say that enough, y'all, her body is tea. Okay, real quick though, I'm gonna use the Make It Forever HD powder to set my face. Yeah, so with that being said, she didn't want to like lean so much about the body, right? But it was kind of crazy though, because when she did meet Clay, I feel like she was so about showing off her body to him. It was kind of confused. I'm like, wait, girl, you said you weren't gonna like focus too much on the body and the looks, but that's what you're doing right now. But I think when she saw how attractive he was, she was like, okay, let me just like flirt a little bit more, because you're talking behind a wall, you don't know what this person looks like. So that's the only part that threw me off, but I really do like their interaction, and it was just super cute. It was very, very wholesome, and I'm rooting for them. Like I really am rooting for them. So next up, I do want to talk about Amber and Matthew, because their relationship, I don't know what it is, but on the show they really didn't, you know, show too much of them talking. Like you would see her in the room with the girls like talking about Matthew, but I never really saw a lot of their interaction on screen. But from what I could tell, she really liked Matthew and was telling AD that, but AD didn't tell Amber that, you know, she was talking to Matthew as well. So it was kind of crazy seeing that, you know, dynamic. But Amber really liked him. I just think she was not trying to sit there and be confused, right? Because she didn't know about AD and Matthew. So at that point when she did leave, Matthew was like, whoa, like I was still trying to make a decision, but I guess now I have to go ahead and find my girl. So we don't know if they actually met after the show or what had happened. It was just really weird. I wish the show kind of showed more of their interaction so we can know, like, maybe were they a good match. I couldn't tell because the whole show was focused on, you know, AD and Matthew's connection more so than Amber's. But like I told you guys, I wish Amber was on the show. Like I feel like she would have been like a spicy little one on there, and it would just been nice to see her dynamic, you know, with Matthew. So I just wanted to go ahead and mention that because that was like one of like the most important relationships on the show, but we have no clue how it ended up. So that's that. So next we have Jeremy and Laura. And when you talk about people that are just like stacked up equally when it comes to like personality, looks, all of that, I think they are just like perfection. They just give me like those like nerdy smart couples, and I live for it. Like Laura's a little bit more like hip, you know what I'm saying? But they just give me like that they have like these inside jokes that they will laugh about. I don't know, I really like them together, and every time he talked to her, it just seemed like a fun relationship. Like it just seems good, right? Till episode 6, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But for now, what I saw during the pods, I was obsessed with it. Now, Jeremy also talked to Sarah Ann, and they did show some of their interaction on the show, but not too much. But what I will say is like they had a good relationship. It was very calm, like there was no problems. It was very just like, it is what it is. I think when Jeremy asked Sarah Ann about like her political views, I was like, whoa, like not him trying to like expose her out here, you know what I'm saying? That was kind of crazy. But besides that, like I like their relationship. It was very chill, nothing crazy to talk about. But I will say when he did end things with Sarah Ann, she was very calm, and I kind of like that demeanor because she wasn't like mad or anything. She was kind of very like, it is what it is. She still wanted to know what she like could have improved on, or what it was that made him come to that decision to pick Laura. But I kind of like her calm demeanor. Like it was very just calm. But talking about the reveal between Jeremy and Laura, I will say I loved it. He's just so like, the more I see him on the show, I'm like, this man is very attractive. Am I crazy? Like, I don't know. I I think he's really cute. I think he's really cute. And just seeing them finally like meet one another, it just made sense. Like it made sense. It made me smile. So I was with it. I really liked it. So next we have Chelsea and Trevor. I actually feel like those two are supposed to be together. Like I told you guys, she's insecure and not all the way confident, but I feel like Trevor would have balanced her out and made her feel confident. Like that man, I just loved the way he treated her during the show. But I will say at the end, when Chelsea basically told him like it wasn't him, she wasn't gonna pick him, his response broke my heart. Like when he said, I didn't even consider heartbreak because it wasn't even an option to me. He thought she was gonna pick him, and he was so excited for her to pick him. And he was like, I just want you to be happy. Like that's all that matters. I want you to be happy, and that's that, and whatever decision that you make. And how he sat there like asking her like what it is, you know, he could have done better. She couldn't even give him the response that he deserved. You know what I'm saying? She just kept saying like, it's not you, basically. And y'all need to watch that whole interaction. It like broke my heart. I'm like, he is so sweet, so adorable. Like he is truly amazing. And I really wish he was on the show. Like I really, really wish he was on the show. But then also what broke my heart too as well was when at the end he was like, well, you know, you're more than welcome to leave, but I just want to stay a little bit longer in the pods just so he can like get his feelings out. He's like, I don't want to go back crying to the guys. I'm like, oh, he is everything. I love him. So time for some bronzer. I'm going to use my Charlotte Tilbury bronzer in the shade Tan. Now I do want to talk about Chelsea and Jimmy because their relationship was just, I really didn't see the sparks. I think there's just so much to dissect with them too. The reason why Jimmy really loved Chelsea was for two things. He literally said on the show he wants to be the man to lead, right? He basically doesn't like the woman rebuting him or like arguing with him. Like he wants to be the one to make the decisions, and that's that. And any ounce of like stress in the relationship, he gives me the vibe that he will run, because he shuts down literally on the show whenever people talk about like hard things or like he's stressed. He doesn't give me a man like that would be there for the long run. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like the reason why he vibed with Chelsea more was because she wasn't arguing with him. Every time they talked, it was pretty much good vibes. Like, it was just like happy-go-lucky, and that's not real life. Like, Jamie, that's not real life, okay? So I think that's why he really liked her. And then also, the main reason is because when she said she had features, or people tell her she looks like, you know, Megan Fox, I literally saw the light bulb in his head like switch on. He was like, yeah. Like, men are such physical people. They love like physical features, things like that. So the moment she mentioned that, he was gone. Jessica who? He was gone. So I feel like that's the main reasons he picked Chelsea, because in my opinion, his conversations with Jessica were more real. Like, it was more real life stuff. It was very just like not surface level. It's not always good vibes. They talk about the hard things too, right? But I feel like with Chelsea, the reason why he leaned more towards her was because they always had a very peaceful, positive relationship. The only thing I will say is like he handled it well when Chelsea would cry a lot, because she will cry every second. He's like, Chelsea, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? But he handled that well. Like, he would make sure she was, you know, feeling good. Now, Jessica and Jimmy, those two, right? Those two. Where do I even start with them? Jessica deserves a man, and Jimmy wasn't giving that to me at all. Like, Jimmy was very much, who is this woman? Because she is a firecracker in the best way possible. Like, she knows what she wants. She wants you to be direct. Don't give her, you know, the soft, you know, run around type situations. She wants real life conversations. She wants to make sure that you're going to be there for her daughter, that you know she has a daughter, that she won't accept less than. Like, Jessica is literally a boss. I freaking love her, and I wish she was on the show. I'm going to say that a million times. So obviously, like, you know, the moment he mentioned that, or not he, she mentioned that she had a child, I could just see that Jimmy was checked out. He wasn't really feeling her anymore, because I feel like he's the type of guy that wants to be like the first man that she has a child with. Like, he just wants to be like the first everything. Like, he wasn't ready for real life. Like, this is real life. Like, people have kids, and it is what it is. But I like how at the end he was like, I'm not going to give you the answer that you want. She literally gave this man a letter that she wrote to her future husband for him to read. And at the end of all of that, he was like, well, I'm not going to give you the answer that you want. Thinking that she wanted you to say that you love her or whatever. She wasn't asking for that. She wanted just to see your reaction. And I feel like he blew it out of proportion and was like, well, if you're looking for me to say like, I love you, I'm not there yet. But then goes to see Chelsea after and tells her that he loves her. Like, this man, like, where is your mind? Like, he's just everywhere. But I love how Jessica came back and just ate him up. She ripped him a new one. Literally, I rewinded that EpiPen scene 5 million times. She said, when you see me, you're gonna need an EpiPen because you're gonna choke. You're gonna choke because you're gonna see what you missed out on. I said, what? And she right. She right. She deserves so much better, and I'm glad she left with her dignity, because I feel like on the show, he was playing with her. He was playing with her and he wasn't serious. So when Jimmy and Chelsea finally decided they wanted to get married and they do the whole reveal. Sorry, y'all. Let me just spray this real quick. So when Jimmy and Chelsea finally decided that they want to be together and they want to, you know, meet one another, get engaged, all that good stuff. Y'all, I was so scared for the reveal. The reveals on these shows make me literally like feel scared. I don't know why. I'm just always worried, like, what's gonna happen, right? But Chelsea was very excited. I love how she said she ran to him like a T-Rex, because literally she's hilarious. She really did. She was like so excited to see him, kept kissing him, kept hugging him. And actually he behaved a lot better than I thought he would. Like, I thought he would be like confused, because she did say she looked like Megan Fox, so he was expecting that from head to toe. But I feel like at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, he was like, okay, she is a beautiful girl, because she is. Chelsea's very beautiful. I think she should have said she has features like Megan Fox, because he was expecting something else, I'm assuming. But she's a very beautiful girl, and I really like how he still embraced her, how he still kissed her, you know, all of that in that moment. But you can tell like he was a little bit disappointed. I mean, they did do like a brief interview with him, and he stated like that she lied about looking like Megan Fox. But nonetheless, I feel like he acted a lot better than I thought he would. Like, I really thought he was gonna be like mean about it, but he was super nice, super nice. So that's them. So do I like them together? I feel like Chelsea deserves better, in my opinion, than Jimmy, but we'll just see how everything turns out. So next we have Amy and Johnny. I feel like ever since they were in the pods, I forgot to tell you guys, I'm using the Giorgio Armani number 30 Neo Nude Melting Blush. My favorite blush, because it has like this orangey hue to it. But going back to Amy and Johnny, I feel like ever since they were in the pods, like they knew they wanted one another. There was no like real issues. They haven't had like any tests, in my opinion. Like, they knew they wanted one another and they went for one another. So with that being said, when they met each other, it was just love at first sight. Like, he was smitten by her, kept telling her how beautiful she was. She did mention that he's not normally who she goes for, that she normally goes for like dark features, like all of that, but he's very much blonde. But she's still very much into him, and I really like that about them. So last but not least is Brittany and Kenneth. Now with them two, I love their interaction in the pods, because they made sure to know, like, you know, that they both love God, that they're all about their faith. I also love how they talked about like race too as well, because like Kenneth said on the show, he pretty much has only dated black women, and this is new for him to date somebody that's white, but it just seemed like they understood that and they were still willing to go through with that, because connection is connection, you guys. Like sometimes you can't help who you love. But I think also I was so nervous for their reveal, because I was like, they're both doing something new that they haven't done before, so I'm not sure what to expect. I'm going to apply the Refined Topaz Gloss Highlighter on my face. But the reveal was so precious to me, you guys. Like, it was so precious. I just love how she embraced him. Like, literally embraced him. She's just so cute to me. And I could tell like he felt the love from her. And he kept saying how beautiful she is, because she's stunning. And I don't know. I feel like they're going to be one of my favorite couples. I hope so. I don't know. But they just give me love, genuine love, when I see them on the screen. So that is all the couples and like their interactions, their reveals, what I thought about them. Now I do want to touch base on episode 6, because I feel like that's when it kind of like was, you know, a little bit more established. I feel like with AD and Clay, I love them because episode 6, when they actually are like, you know, on their honeymoon, he kept saying that he didn't want to sexualize his wife, that he actually wanted to love her for who she is as a person. And that just made me fall more in love with him. That's why I'm like, what are y'all talking about when you say like he's a player? He kept saying like her body is tea, because her body's tea, and I'm gonna keep saying that. But he was like, I don't want to sexualize my wife. This is my wife, and I want to get to know her. And I feel like the more I watch him on the show, I just fall more in love with him, because he just seems like a really, really good person. And then AD on the show as well with him, like they just seem like in love. Okay, there's not much to say. I feel like till like the bonfire party or whatever you want to call that, the beach party, things kind of go a little bit left for everybody, but we'll get there in a little bit. So then I do have Jeremy and Laura. I feel like with Jeremy and Laura on their honeymoon, you can kind of tell like she's kind of getting annoyed with him, because he is a ball of energy. She still kind of accepts him for who he is and isn't like too pressed, but she could tell like this man is hyper. Okay, he's hyper, but it is what it is. But they're just so cute on, you know, on their honeymoon. Like, I just love his personality, and I love how he's like the extrovert and she's like the more calm one, I will say. So I'm gonna do my eyes real quick and then the lips, and we're pretty much done, you guys. So moving on to Chelsea and Jimmy. I feel like on the show they're a lot better than I thought. Okay, I thought it was gonna be very awkward and just weird, but it just seems like so far he's embracing her and being really sweet to her, because she literally needs validation every other minute for him to say like, you know, what he thinks of her. Is he in love with her? Like, she asks so many questions that I know he's probably getting tired of it. I think he actually said it on the show, like he's tired of validating her, because I think on the show he is showing her that, you know, he actually cares about her and wants to do this. And even on the show he said like out of everybody he feels like they're doing the best couple wise. So that's that. But till the very end at the party, that's when it kind of goes left. But I feel like so far Chelsea just needs to stop needed validation so much, but I think Jimmy's doing a great job, surprisingly. And then next we have Amy and Johnny. Out of all the couples, they give me very much honeymoon. Like, it's all love, it's bliss, there's no problems, there's no issues. Like, they're in their own little world, okay? Like, even when they meet all the other couples, they still migrate back to one another, because like they're so in love. I think they're in their own world, and that's how I would be too. Like, I love my friends, I love y'all, but honey child, let me be around my man, okay? That's what is very much given, and I love the relationship so far. It is super, super cute. And then Brittany and Kenneth. So on the show, they just they give me like those couples that have been together for like years. They very much give that. They don't feel like a new couple. They feel very much like in tune with one another, very chill, very calm. Like, I feel the love every time I see them. I feel like, and I hope that they're, you know, still one of my favorites towards the end of the show. But so far, I'm just loving their interaction and just the sweetness of it all. Like, I don't know, that's all I can say. Like, they give me very much like we're married and we've been together for years. That's the vibe that I'm getting on episode 6. Now I feel like for everybody, where it kind of went left is like the bonfire, or like, I keep saying bonfire, was it a bonfire or a beach party? I don't know. But I feel like what got me, I put like 3 points on here. The first one is Jimmy and Chelsea talking about AD's body. Now that they went men, you have to understand, like, if a man's like, okay, like, that girl's body is T, and you agree with him, and you also tell the woman, like, how do you get that body like that, which is what Chelsea did, you're gonna basically let the man know, like, it's okay to talk to you about women's bodies, right? So it's kind of confusing, because if you were really upset, you would have checked him then at that moment and not even told AD. But the fact that she went ahead and told AD, like, how do you get your body like that? Da 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 da. What is the problem? It's kind of being like, you're being very much confused. And now I will say Jimmy, like, he loves him some AD. Okay, he was like, let me go talk to AD, and he sure as hell did. Like, he made sure he talked to her, and like, they were low-key flirting. I feel like him and AD were very much flirting. She was giving him the eyes, and if you're a girl, you know what I'm talking about, like the eyes. She was very much giving that man the eyes, and he was falling for it. So I do understand why Chelsea was upset. And I'm kind of glad she didn't make it a big deal at the party, because what I would do with my partner is kind of let them know at the end of the night. But how she still went about it at the end of the night kind of annoyed me, but we'll touch base on that. But that's what I will say about that whole interaction. Now, the next thing I want to point out is Jeremy and Laura's fight. That one kind of blew me, because I did not expect that. I feel like it was an inside joke between Jeremy and Laura. And even when he told the men with AD right there about like the, what's it called? I don't even know what they call that thing, but basically like the chest slap, whatever you want to call it. It was a joke, but I don't know where it went serious. I feel like AD was upset about it, which she's allowed to be upset. If you're upset about something like that, that's totally fine. I think Clay was kind of like, I don't know really how to feel, but it is what it is, right? So I don't think it was that big of a deal, but it just blew up into something that didn't need to go there. I don't know. Especially when AD pulled them aside, she was kind of like sticking up for Clay, like, yeah, like, I see why he's upset, why I'm upset about, you know, what Laura said to do, or what Laura told Jeremy to do, playing around. Like, I just didn't think that whole thing was that big of a deal. Now, if it did actually happen, I would get it, but that fight was just so unnecessary. But I feel like with Laura and Jeremy, it kind of got a little bit spicy. I want to see how they go about fixing that. Because I told you guys, he does play a lot, and I feel like she's probably getting tired of it already, which is crazy to say, but it is what it is. So last but not least, for the lips, I went ahead and lined my lips with a dose of colors, liquid lipstick in the shade Chocolate Wasted. And then I also used my Beauty by CHICHI Allure lip liner just to make it a little bit sharper. But for the lips, I'm going to use my YSL Candy Glaze lipstick in the shade 15 Showcasing Nude, okay? Just to add a little bit of a gloss today. But the last thing I do want to talk about is the very end of episode 6, when Chelsea was talking to Jimmy, right? Because like I told you guys, any girl in that situation would be jealous, but it was just like very, like, it was almost like she was whining. Like, literally, I remember I kept like clicking my ear, because I'm just like, it's so frustrating, like, to listen to that. I'm so sorry. Like, it was very frustrating, because like, I feel like instead of whining, tell him why it was wrong, right? And nip it in the butt, right? And I think also, like I told you guys, he's probably confused because she even turned around and was like, AD, how do you get a body like that? Da, 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 da. So he's like, what is going on? Like, he's probably confused. But I feel like in those situations with men especially, they don't listen well when you're whining. You need to tell them, like, this is what it was. This is why I was wrong. You know what I'm saying? And let's move on from this. But she kept, like, whining almost the whole time. So they kind of ended the show at that and left it at that. So we'll see what happens, you know, this Wednesday when they drop the new episodes. So this is the completed look, you guys. Very simple, okay? But I do hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, let me know if this is something I should keep doing every week or every other week. I don't know. Let me know if this is something you actually really enjoy, because I did have fun with this. Like, the fact that I could keep up with all the names and the characters, that is pretty good. I'm proud of myself, okay? So let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think about the couples? Do you like them? Do you not? Let me know your thoughts, okay? But with that being said, make sure you go ahead and hit that like, subscribe button before you guys do leave. And I'll see you guys in my next video.